Donald Trump was crashing out in the Oval Office. He just wrapped up a disastrous press conference regarding this unlawful war in Iran. And Donald Trump was bragging that Iran gave him a present. He said, "They gave me a present. It was such a beautiful present, and it's a lot of money, this present. What are you talking about?" As we speak, the war is escalating. You are sending thousands of troops for a potential ground invasion in Iran. We're seeing Iran successfully strike areas in Israel right now. Things are getting worse out there. What are you talking? You got a prize? The hell is he talking about? Play this clip, because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing. Actually, they gave us a present and the president arrived today and it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money. And I'm not going to tell you what that present is, but it was a very significant prize and they gave it to us and they said they were going to give it. So that meant one thing to me. We're dealing with the right people. Nuclear related. No, it wasn't nuclear related. It was oil and gas related and it was a very nice thing they did. But what it showed me is that we're dealing with the right people because you don't know because the leadership was killed. All gone. Kamini all. Gone as the expression goes. The past supreme leader and then the new supreme leader was racked up pretty good. And everyone else was gone and then many of the people in the third tier are gone. But we're dealing with a group of people that I think turn out and the president, the gift they made to us was very significant. And they said they were going to do it and it happened and they're the only ones that could have done it. Jennifer. Was it related to the straight up losing the flow? Yeah, it was regulated to the flow and to the straight. Yeah, it was. Then Donald Trump says that Pete Hegseth and General Kane were disappointed when describing a potential ceasefire or settlement agreement with Iran. Because they don't want settlement. All they want is war and death. Here, play this clip, and that's exactly what we're doing in historic fashion. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Appreciate you. Great, Mr. President. You know, the only two people that were quite disappointed, I don't want to say this, but I have to. I said, Pete. And General Raisin Kane, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad. Pete didn't want it to be settled. It's these guys are doing a great job. That's a good attitude though, Tom, right? They were not interested in settlement. They were interested in just winning this thing. Yeah, please, Mr. President, can you just taking things? And then that's what Pete Hegseth says. Pete Hegseth says, the way we negotiate is with bombs. The way you negotiate is with bombs. Do you realize how idiotic you sound? Do you realize the dangerous words coming out of your mouth? That will only fuel further support for the Ayatollah and for the Islamic Republic against the US when you say things like that. Here, play this clip. The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that when he sends his war fighters out to fight, he unties their hands, to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well. We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran as the president talked about your future. President has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees our job is to ensure that. And so we're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interest of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield. This then Donald Trump says that it was very unexpected for him that Iran would strike the way in Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Nobody knew this. Donald Trump says when in fact everybody knew this. We knew this months ago. His intelligence community knew this. He should have known this, but he's bragging about how stupid and ignorant he is. Here, play this clip. Unexpectedly, when this war broke out, unexpectedly, they started sending missiles to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and elsewhere, and nobody thought they were going to. Were you equally surprised by that, Pete? Way more than we thought. Do you want to give about a 3? Now, one of the things we're learning as this crash out in the Oval Office is taking place is that the United States has been trying to work with a group of regional mediators, including Egypt, Pakistan, and Turkey to try to hold high-level peace talks with Iran. The problem is Iran is not responding, and they don't want to hold these peace talks according to Axios and other reporting out there. Also, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, is concerned that if Trump strikes a deal that falls short of Israel's objectives, that is a big problem for Israel. Back to Donald Trump's crash out in the Oval Office right now. Donald Trump's like, so we did do regime change. If you think about it, we killed the old people. And so, sure, there may be new people who are more extreme than the old people, and maybe we further empowered the Revolutionary Guard in Iran. But we did kill the old people. Regime change. We did it. We won. Here, play this clip. Sounds like adults to me, even though they are sort of children, right? They'll always be your children. But I hate to say it, but we killed all their leadership, and then they met to choose new leaders, and we killed all of them. And now we have a new group and we can easily do that. But let's see how they turn out. We have really regime change. This is a change in the regime because the leaders are all very different than the ones that we started off with that created all those problems. So this was, I think we can say, Jason, this is regime change, right? What makes you trust them? I don't trust. And if you were like, well, Ben, he didn't say we won in that clip. Come on, Ben, stick with the facts. Ben, what are you doing? This is the MeidasTouch network. Y'all just brought in Scott McFarland. By the way, subscribe to Scott McFarland's YouTube channel. Let's get it. 100,000 subscribers. It's Scott McFarland News. But you think I'm going to bring in Scott McFarland, not come with receipts here. Donald Trump says this war has been won. We won it. If you read the news, what if we read your Truth Social post here? Play this clip. Yeah, President Trump on a human level. How hopeful are you that this peace deal will work out? Like as a human as on what? On a human level, not as the President of the United States. How hopeful are you that this peace deal will work out with Iran? You're talking about to end it? Well, I think we're going to end it. I can't tell you for sure. I don't like to say this. We've won this. This war has been won. The only one that likes to keep it going is the fake news. I mean, the New York Times, you read the New York Times, it's like we're not winning a war where they have no Navy and they have no Air Force and they have no nothing. And we literally have planes flying over Tan and other parts of their country. They can't do a thing about it. More from Donald Trump right here. Reporter asks, so do you trust Iran? Do you trust the Ayatollah? Watch what he says. Play this clip. Can say, Jason, this is regime change, right? What makes you trust them? I don't trust anybody. I don't trust you. I mean, that's only because I know you, but if I didn't know you, I'd probably have more trust, but I don't trust any. Why bother? Why do you say that? Why do you say what makes you trust? Do you think I trust them? I don't trust them. Then why bother talking to them? Because they're going to make a deal. They're going to make a deal. They did something yesterday that was amazing. Actually, they gave us a present and the president arrived today and it was a very big present. What about Saudi Arabia, Donald? There's been reporting that the Crown Prince has been encouraging you to do certain things relating to Iran. Now, this question was purposefully vague because I think the reporter knew that Saudi Arabia was trying to at least publicly hide that it was already involved in this war against Iran. But Donald Trump's like, oh, MBS, he's a warrior. He is fighting with us. Also, he has given your family billions of dollars or at least hundreds of millions of dollars in my opinion. Play this clip. On Saudi Arabia, there's been some reporting that you've been talking to the Crown Prince. Have you been focused on normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel at this point? Well, now we have a great relationship with Saudi Arabia. What do you hear with Saudi Arabia? Just hearing that you've been talking and that he has been encouraging you to do certain things related to Iran. Can you share a little bit? He's a warrior. He's fighting with us, by the way. Saudi Arabia has been excellent and way excellent, and I will tell you, Car incredible. Car took a hit, pretty bad hit. Car is very close. They're essentially you can walk right over the border. Kuwait, they had a little mishap. They shot down 3 planes with our missiles. They happened to be our planes, but the pilots made it. Can you imagine the pilots making it? The pilots saw what was coming, and they said, those are patriots. We're not going to escape patriots. And they got out of there pretty quick, Pete, right? Pretty amazing that they got out. The 3 pilots lived, they're fine. In fact, they're flying today. It was the Kuwait that accidentally fired. So there have been some reports that J.D. Vance is leading the negotiations with Iran, and the reason that it's Vance is that from some sources. They've said that Iran doesn't want to deal with Witoff and Kushner, because the last time they were involved there was immediately after a deal was reached with the Oman foreign minister. The U.S. struck Iran. So Donald Trump's like, yeah, it's J.D. Vance, but then it's also Witoff and Kushner, which again undermines, even if it's Vance and these other people are in the background. Iran doesn't want to deal with Kushner and Witoff, so saying Kushner and Witko is involved sends a signal to Iran that you're not serious about discussions. Here, play this clip. Yeah, I know you've said there's a bunch of people from the administration who are negotiating with Iran. There's been reports that the vice president is leading those negotiations. Is that true? Well, he's involved in them. GD is involved and Marco is involved and Jared Kushner is involved. Very smart guy. And Steve Witt, smart guy, is involved and I'm involved. I'm involved. Why? I'm going to be so big. Oh, I don't want to talk about I'm the president of the United States, Tom, and I'm not going to talk about it. It's beneath me to talk about saving millions of lives, because that's what you're talking about. You're talking about saving millions of lives. If Iran had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it. Then you have Pete Hegseth saying, when the president says war fighters are going to fight, we're vicious. Whereas we're as vicious as you can be. Watch Hegseth, it's idiotic. Let's play it. Never in history has a modern military Iran had a modern military, a modern navy, a modern air force, modern air defenses, leadership, massive. Bunker. Never has a modern military been so rapidly and historically obliterated, defeated from day one with overwhelming firepower. The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that when he sends his war fighters out to fight, he unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. Then Donald Trump is like, if we didn't have the B2S hit now, we obliterated, everyone's obliterated. Okay, well, I see what's happening right now in Israel. I see what's happening in Kuwait. I see what's happening in the neighboring Arab nations where Iran's penetration rate with their ballistic missiles that now drop those clusters is higher now than at the beginning of the war. You can replay it. I don't know why, but if we didn't have those be the B2 hit, which was so we obliterated. Despite CNN said, well, maybe the word obliteration said, no, we obliterated it. Just obliterated their nuclear potential. You would have had them having 2 weeks after that attack. Had we not made the attack, they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have absolutely used it. And they would have used it on the entire Middle East, including Israel. And then you have Hegseth saying this is not Iraq, this is not Afghanistan. We have clear objectives. We're not going to tell you what they are. We'll do riddles like we got prizes in the straight, big prizes. We're not going to tell you what it is. Here, play this clip. This is not Iraq and Afghanistan. This is not a president who's interested in vague end states. He's been very clear with us about what we need to accomplish, creating the conditions for them never to have a nuclear capability. And that's exactly what we're doing in historic fashion. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Appreciate you. Then Donald Trump says, and as you know, today we will have the privilege of shooting up Iran. We have the privilege of blowing up their electric generation plants. Yeah, that's a war crime. That's a war crime. Here, play this clip. We're roaming free. We can do whatever we want. And as you know, today we were going to have the privilege of shooting down a very big electric generation plant, one of the biggest in the world. And one shot to the right location ends the plant that collapses, and we held off based on the fact that we're negotiating. Yeah, what do you think was the turning? Then Donald Trump starts blabbering about, can you name one thing that's not gone? I don't know. Their entire leadership structure right now, that's more extreme. You've empowered the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. Everything is just a worse version of it was before. And Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz with an iron fist. But go on, lie, here, play this clip. All of the anti-aircraft is gone. Most of their missiles are gone. We either shot them or they shot them and don't have them anymore. They're down to a trickle. They're up pretty much everything they have is gone. I don't know. Can you name one thing that's not gone, or can you name one thing that's doing well? You know, if you read the papers, you think we're tied. You think we're in a tough battle. We are roaming free over Tran. The city Tran as opposed to Iran. We're roaming free. We can do whatever we want. More from Donald Trump here. He looks at someone who's Native American. He's like, ooh, I didn't know that about you. Here, play this clip. I hope you're happy. But as the only Native American, I didn't know that, huh? Let me look at you. I think that's all right. He's got great quality, I can tell you. It's the only Native American in the Senate. How many have been there before you? Do you know Native American? I think 3. Well, you're a fantastic representative, Mark. Then Donald Trump says that Kamala Harris is low IQ. Let's play. Can you imagine that, Jim? She's a borders. She never called Border Patrol. Explain that to me. He's the worst. She was as bad as he was. Going to give him IQ tests next week under the Trump admin. And just here are some photos of the significant damage of residential structures in Bnei Brak in central Israel. Tonight in Israel, it's nighttime following. The impact of multiple cluster munitions. I'll just show you video footage from an hour ago showing several failed interceptions of Iranian medium-range ballistic missiles that I think have clusters with them as well. This is near the city of Safed in northern Israel. So this is what's going on while Donald Trump saying he's getting prizes. Everybody prizes. Play it. There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think and subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers and subscribe most importantly to Scott McFarlane News. Search that on YouTube, Scott McFarlane News right now. Subscribe. Tell him MeidasTouch sent you. He did a great video today on Capitol Hill, by the way. Hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscribers to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipke, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.